Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. President Muhammad Buhari has vowed to ensure that every kobo mismanaged or diverted during what he called the serial abuse of the Niger Delta Development Commission is recovered for use in service of the people in the region. Inaugurating the NDDC prototype hostel at the University of Uyo virtually, the president also said all those found culpable shall face the law. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
This ultra-modern complex, built and donated to the University of Uyo by NDDC, renews our confidence that the forensic audit, which has been completed and currently being reviewed for necessary action, had achieved one of its core objectives.
The objective of the forensic audit, President Muhammadu Buhari said, is to rebuild the NDDC into an agency that is well equipped and better placed to facilitate sustainable regional development in a transparent and impactful way.
The federal government has invested significantly in the NDDC. We recognize that this outlay of resources must be justified. And this can be done only with verifiable projects, prudently and efficiently implemented, which will improve the living standards of the people. It is critical that not only I, but the people begin to rekindle our trust in this critical institution, which plays an important role in developing this region.
This fully furnished prototype university hostel consists of 1,050 bed spaces, 525 each for males and females. It can also boast of significant hard and soft infrastructure towards ensuring sustainability and durability.
The completion of this structure is therefore another important proof that this administration is committed to satisfying the needs of the people throughout Nigeria and fulfilling their expectations. Governments must continue in its efforts to serve the people by providing amenities as well as an enabling environment for scholarships, investments across all sectors for sustenance of the environment and the overall growth of the economy.
The NDDC, President Buhari said, needs to continually demonstrate that it can achieve the objectives it was conceived for and make its impact felt across the Niger Delta.
The lives of the people of the Niger Delta could be so much better if the funding received by this commission since its inception in billions of naira over the last 20 years had been judicially deployed in service of the people. The serial abuse, lack of delivery, and what had become an entrenched institutional decay was the reason why I called for the forensic audit.
The president charged the management of the University of Uyo to ensure that the hostel block is properly maintained for the benefit of the current students as well as those who will come after. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now let's shift attention to some achievements in some sectors. The development of vaccines to defeat the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021 gave countries of the world the boldness to analyze present challenges in global partnerships and chart new directions for the future to identify areas of cooperation. Foreign desk correspondent Usman Ali reports on how Nigeria and other nations made commitments to strengthen foreign relations for mutual benefits.
Europe, Asia and Africa all seek for improved relations with Nigeria in 2021, signaling new reputation Nigeria builds in the eyes of the world. The campaign of America Back mantra to rebuild relationship and redeem image against the insulting comments and restrictions such as the visa ban by Donald Trump to many countries including Nigeria brought two key figures of U.S. government. America's Deputy National Security Advisor and the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken.
There are no significant issues on our mutual agenda that can be addressed without working together, and so we are committed to continuing to do that.
The United States doesn't want to limit your partnerships with other countries. We want to make your partnerships with us even stronger. We don't want to make you choose. We want to give you choices.
Commentators say Blinken's coming to Nigeria will do a lot of healing not only to Nigeria's desired aspirations, but the entire Africa continent.
We have a country in the hands of a very strong leadership. There is morality in international relations. There is morality in politics. Nigeria is gradually becoming a very good destination in terms of its relations with other countries of the world. United States of America, if I didn't say the most important nation on earth, is one of the most important nations on earth. Every nation in the world will want to have a very strong relationship at bilateral and at multilateral level with the USA. United States Secretary of State is the topmost public officer in the US government. For him to come to Nigeria is a clear indication and an endorsement that as a people and as a country we are doing some things right.
Nigeria and the United States government share interest in fighting terrorism and seeking for better guide to deal with insurgents in Lake Chad, for instance, and ISIS in other parts of the world. Recently, the A-29 Super Tucano planes and intelligence sharing are some of the benefits gained in the Nigeria and the United States friendship. But on the other side, despite Nigeria being a big trade partner of the US in Africa, trade volume between the two countries is very low, and so both Biden and Buhari engage in various platforms to deepen business ties with turnaround initiatives to increase foreign direct investment, infrastructure development and export. For the pandemic, millions of donated vaccine doses have helped boost American influence. Therefore, the Blinken's visit is also seen to promote that generosity. And the increased U.S. engagement will also be sidetracked by growing crises that have consumed the State Department's attention. The worsening conflict in Ethiopia and derailed democratic transition in Sudan, Mali and Guinea, to which Nigeria has influence in the African Union and ECOWAS. Nigeria and the United Kingdom, as well as Europe relations, are emboldened with various engagements at different platforms and investment forums we see in 2021, just as Nigeria and Turkey closed the calendar with better ties in cooperation. This was before weighing projections for stronger development partnership between Nigeria and South Africa and the Burkina Faso government. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
As part of its mandate to ensure a sustainable and coordinated approach towards humanitarian interventions in the country, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development responded to various humanitarian requests in the year 2021. Ruth Aguele in this report reviews the various interventions by the ministry in meeting the set target of lifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty.
A nation with an estimated population of more than 200 million, now this poses a burden of ensuring equitable distribution of resources for the citizens. The ministry is saddled with the responsibility of fixing loopholes where humanitarian concerns are required, embarked on various interventions for the year 2021. The National Social Investment Program's NSIP, an initiative of the federal government targeted at the poor and vulnerable in the country, was sustained with collaborative approaches to enhance the various programs. Beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer received their allowances of 5,000 naira monthly.
The support I'm getting from federal government is really helping my business.
I will trade with the money to bring me some interest, which will help take care of my family.
The scope of the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program (GIP) that provides interest-free and collateral-free credit to beneficiaries was improved for effective implementation through training of master trainers by the ministry as orientation and mobilization officers to address credit and financial challenges faced by the beneficiaries. Pupils of public primary schools across the country had reasons to keep coming to school with the commencement of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program after a break in 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, with more than 9 million pupils receiving a meal per day.
I enjoyed the food. I ate rice and egg.
To ensure good meal and good utensils, the ministry flagged off the distribution of utensils across the country. Also, not leaving out of school children, the federal government initiated the alternate school program targeted for out of school children. The ministry, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and other key stakeholders, have put in modalities in place through the National Steering Committee for the actualization of the project, which is expected to take off in 2022.
The Ultimate School Program possesses the potential for every child to gain access to quality education, irrespective of social, cultural, or economic standing.
The Empower Batch C Stream 1 was launched under the National Social Investment System's application to address irregularities in the scheme and promote transparency. Already, 500,000 beneficiaries have been engaged with an expansion of 1 million target, just as more Nigerians anticipate in high hopes to be part of the next stream in 2022. As part of efforts to ensure the goal of the NSIP is not defeated, independent monitors from across the country were engaged to carry out the task of monitoring the implementation of the various programs.
I hope to, get the opportunities to meet the various departments, the Empower. Once I get the opportunity, I'm going to put in my best.
Other sub-interventions under the NSIP were the end knowledge training of beneficiaries across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country on lifelong skills to make them solution providers and entrepreneurs.
The Empower program is key to helping young people like you acquire and develop lifelong skills that will ensure you to become functional.
Similarly, mobile money agents were also trained to provide employment opportunities to young Nigerians with the provision of startup kits and startup capital of 20,000 naira to improve the livelihood of the beneficiaries. In a bid to promote an all-inclusive society, the National Senior Citizens Center was established to give voice to the elderly, promote their welfare, and protect their rights.
Since after many years of indifference, Nigeria's senior citizens now have a focal center saddled with the responsibility of enhancing their dignity, security, and welfare.
The task of coordinating the burden of humanitarian interventions across the country ensued various partnerships with the international bodies to strengthen humanitarian assistance for Nigeria. However, it is expected that as the National Social Register expands, more Nigerians will benefit from the various programs to ensure social inclusion for all. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Battling COVID-19 since its outbreak has been daunting even for countries known for sophisticated medical practice. The breakthrough by scientists in the production of vaccines, however, has given hope that the dreaded COVID-19 can be subdued. How has Nigeria fared with its COVID-19 vaccination program? Oluseyi Adiagbo will tell us.
After much anticipation, Nigeria eventually received COVID-19 vaccine in the first quarter of the year under review. Conspiracy theory for vaccine hesitancy, making it a global problem. In order to deal with its own share of the problem, not only did the nation embark on massive advocacy, but adopted other strategies aimed at convincing the populace about the safety of the vaccines. These include administering the vaccine on the president, vice president, and other public figures.
In many countries have gone very high in their vaccination, 60–70%. We are still at the basic level.
Nigeria's first phase of vaccination ended in July with almost 4 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine donated by the UK government through the COVAX facility. Adjudged a success, the second phase of the vaccination program was launched in August to enhance coverage.
We really want to go all out to convince people about the COVID-19.
And so our business will be to continue to communicate the message, and people will begin to respond gradually.
Our response activities from day one have been such that we call all of government and all of society.
Another disturbing moment came when the media space was awash with the breaking story that more than 1 million expired vaccines were among those being administered on Nigerians. An allegation the health authorities denied, but assured the public of the commitment to safety as appropriate action would be taken on the expired vaccines in their possession. Couple of weeks to the end of the year, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, in collaboration with NAFDAC and Abuja Environmental Agency, publicly destroyed over 1 million of expired COVID-19 vaccines.
So the most important thing is for us to look forward to manufacturing our own vaccines.
With the federal government's marching order on compulsory COVID-19 vaccination for all federal civil servants, came the flag off of a mass vaccination site across states of the Federation, just as the booster dose was kick-started to enhance citizens' protection against the virus.
In 2022, I think the process is going to be good because people have really accepted that coronavirus is a reality.
Over 13 million Nigerians have now been vaccinated. 13 million Nigerians cannot be wrong. I expect that Nigerians now realize that death from COVID-19, severe illness from COVID-19, happens only to people who are unvaccinated. Please don't take a chance with your life. Get vaccinated.
With a set target of vaccinating 70% of Nigeria's population by 2022, the new year looks promising in the quest to attain herd immunity via the nation's COVID-19 vaccination program. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Despite economic and challenges of insecurity, which are the major lifeline of a country, the Buhari-led administration is determined to leave a legacy of safe, secured and prosperous nation. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, noted this at a media briefing on the achievements of the administration in 2021. The administration, the minister said, has availed itself creditably in reforming the oil sector to spur investments, embraced world-class infrastructure, and is providing social safety nets for the poor and the most vulnerable in society, as well as taking advantage of the huge opportunities offered by Information and Communication Technology. Lai Mohammed says President Muhammad Buhari urged Nigerians not to relent in supporting the Nigerian security agencies for a safe country. You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Let's now join Kende in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Kende.
Hello, Elizabeth. Glad to have you join us in Lagos. Just like 2020, the Nigerian health sector in 2021 was dominated by issues surrounding the coronavirus pandemic. The country experienced two waves, the third and the fourth surge. Ingino John tells us how the sector fared in the year under review and gives us a projection into 2022.
Increase in cases of COVID-19 infections in 2021, government intensified enlightenment campaigns on importance of vaccination, and it is breaking barriers of vaccine inequality to provide Nigerians the opportunity to be fully inoculated. For instance, the Lagos state government flagged off the Count Me In 4 million Lagosians vaccinated against COVID-19 campaign to achieve herd immunity.
We're going to recruit more and more private sector organizations into accreditation and providing them with these vaccines so they can administer these vaccines to the public.
As the country battled the third wave of the pandemic, which came with a more aggressive variant, the Delta strain, resident doctors embarked on an industrial action which lasted 64 days. Few months after suspension of the strike, the federal government responded to part of their demands by approving an increase in hazard allowance. Despite challenges faced in 2021, the pandemic period also activated the scientific bravery of Nigerian researchers.
Some of the resources that we use in HIV programming were also used for COVID testing. We're still able to reach a good number of people.
Other areas that recorded success include the fight against yellow and Lassa fevers with the invention of homegrown diagnostic kits by the country's Apex Medical Research Institute.
The case of yellow fever and Lassa fever is everywhere in the states. And when it is not diagnosed early, most times people come down with high issue, even fatality. So we felt there is a need for us to have an in-country diagnostic kit that can pick these pathogens.
Medical experts believe 2022 will bring more hope to the health sector.
Health system that is robust enough to cope with everything in reproductive health, mental health, endemic diseases.
As scientists and researchers in Nigeria and across the globe continue to struggle to find a more permanent solution to COVID-19, Nigerians are hopeful that things will get back to normal in 2022. In Lagos, Hingino John, NTA News.
Expectations remain an integral aspect of human planning, whether social or economic. This is because they give room for a better tomorrow. Most people, particularly at the end of the year and the beginning of the new year, have such expectations. Lynn Lineker sought the opinion of some Nigerians on the expectation for the new year 2022 as the year 2021 winds down.
It has become an annual ritual for people to set agenda for themselves. So also it is with the government. As Nigeria continues to battle the deadly variant of COVID-19 and ensure the safety of citizens, it is also doubling efforts to improve every sector of the economy. With just few days to the end of 2021, some Nigerians who spoke to NTA News highlighted security, health as areas of expected improvement.
They should try to encourage the youth to go into the agricultural sector so that it can create jobs for them. They can reduce our importation, which is import substitution. And through that, they can improve the naira value.
Gone are the days that even before you graduate from the school, you find several organizations that actually need your service. But this time around, it's not like that. So government just have to look at things from different perspectives, what they can do in order to make sure that people are more productive, or probably they bring out the creativity in people.
Some others also have their personal expectations for the new year.
That God will eradicate the spreading of the COVID
in our nation.
To move closer to God.
It is hoped that individuals and governments alike would consolidate on the gains of 2021 for a better year in 2022. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Let's take a short break. Nationwide continues with Frama in Jos.
Nationwide, I'm glad to have you join us in Jos. Consultative meeting of religious, ethnic, and community leaders in Plateau State is decrying the increasing cases of drug abuse by youths, calling on stakeholders to do the needful for a better society. Ndiang and Abuja reports.
In a 14-point communique, the Dialogue Consultative Meeting of DREB commended the leadership of some communities in Jos for their efforts at ensuring peaceful coexistence by advising youth not to embark on reprisal killings. The meeting urged public and private schools to set up peace clubs towards directing young minds on the need for tolerance.
This Elders Forum also decries the increasing crisis of cases of drug substances abuse by our youths.
For sustainable peace and security of the state, the meeting urged the state government to register all tricycles and monitor activities of riders.
We therefore urge our citizens to be very vigilant as they go about their lawful businesses so that they do not fall victim to those bad acts. We also call on the security agencies to enforce strictly the law banning the movement of keke and motorcycle from 6 p.m.
The consultative meeting re-emphasized that speedy growth of the state will be achieved with tolerance, forgiveness, and love. In Jos, Nigerian and Abuja, NTA News.
Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Plateau State says it arrested more than 200 suspects for various offenses in 2021. Ijoma Ozomena has details.
The suspects were arrested in connection with vandalism of electric poles, adulterated premium methylated spirit, railway sleepers, and network masts. The command says the law empowers it to prosecute offenders under its jurisdiction.
So we basically take our cases that has to do with our core mandates. And so far we've prosecuted about almost 50-something people, but from the court we've successfully secured about 15 convictions so far. We successfully secured about 15 convictions, and there are some cases that are still ongoing in the court.
He stated that the command has also taken necessary steps to forestall any act of terrorism and will continue to protect critical assets and infrastructure.
So there's room for us to synergize. And in Plateau State, for example, I must tell you that the synergy level in Plateau State is up at the rooftop. We have been collaborating with one another very well, and that has helped in a lot of situations.
Established in 2003, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, is saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and properties. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja. Thank you, Frama. Now to education, government is scaling up access to technology and digital skills to improve teaching and learning for youth to make them marketable in a fast-changing economy. The ministry inaugurated an e-learning portal developed at the advent of COVID-19 pandemic to bridge the gap created by the new normal to compel and accelerate strategies in alternative delivery of knowledge.
And we felt by leveraging on technology, we'll be able to expand access because you will no longer be limited to the spaces available or the desks available in the classroom. From the comfort of your home, from the comfort of your workshop, your market shop, in the comfort of your own bedroom, when you go back from your daily chores at night, without limitations on time, classes are from 8 to 2. But when you are doing online, even at 2 a.m. when you wake up, you can access content and learn and also do your research.
COVID-19 pandemic, the ministry had a CLAP project designed to provide a unified approach to e-learning. The need to build a more secured Nigeria by using technology predominantly during key activities in the ICT sector in 2021. Experts who are reviewing the sector suggest the need to deploy some key technologies to address some security challenges, which they say is stifling development. Joseph Johnson reports.
Technology has proven to be immensely advanced in almost all fields of human endeavors, but the advancement comes with attendant problems. Cybercrime is top on the list. While some say cybercrime is the white elephant in the room, others are of the view that it is a necessary evil as far as cyberspace is concerned. The federal government, on its part, does not seem keen on sharing the nation's digital space with cyber criminals. But to contend with faceless or anonymous enemies, one needs to master the art of such engagements. That perhaps is the reason why the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy in 2021 made concerted efforts towards getting rid of cyber criminals by harping on NIN-SIM linkage, which the minister said will enable the federal government and security agencies to know the identity of internet users in the country, and of course the recent Federal Executive Council's approval for the immediate deployment of regulatory systems in the telecoms industry came through to cap it all up for the sector.
These two systems approved in a single memo will firstly significantly support our security institutions to the extent that any attempt to hide a number or make it unknown or change the number or make an international call to appear as a local call will immediately be addressed by the Nigerian Communications Commission on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria.
Specifically, these experts argue that with incidents of cyber crimes globally, structures like the regulatory systems put in place to address such threats need to be functional and funds judiciously utilized.
We suggest a kind of distributed implementation so that even if you have a centralized coordinating centers, maybe in Abuja or elsewhere, then you can have centers distributed maybe in the geopolitical zones, then later you can spread it into states so that any form of attack against people's mobile phone numbers or SIMs can easily be monitored, can easily be identified, can easily be tracked.
They could have customized, secured equipment made for the Nigerian people.
It is hoped that as more and more people get lifted out of poverty by the government, even more would be lifted out of harm's way, as one deadly cyber attack can send a person, a group of people, or even a nation back to poverty. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Joining us to give a perspective to cybercrime in Nigeria in the year rolling out is Dr. Abayomi Jegede. He is a cybersecurity expert and he joins us via Zoom. Dr. Jegede, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Oh, you are welcome. Actually, cybersecurity has been on the rise, and then the year 2021 is not an exception. It is estimated that proceeds from cybercrime will hit a total of 6 trillion globally at the end of the year 2021. Then why is this on the rise? It's because of the huge financial rewards from cybercrime. And then for the case of Nigeria, we discover that youths are the ones that really go into cyber crimes. Then you find it, and then why is this so? Basically because of the attractions, financial attractions, that is the financial rewards. Then what should government do? Actually, we learned that government has reviewed the new cybersecurity policy to address the limitations of existing ones. And then we also learned that by 2022, government will also, through NCC, ensure that they launch cybersecurity awareness training for staff of tertiary institutions. Now, what is the reason for this? Is because of peer pressure, the desire for wealth. people simply want to make money and get money, irrespective of the way and manner they make the money.
Dr. Jagede,
Then what
I'd
is
like to come in there.
Yes.
I'd like to come in there. Of utmost concern is the linking of name and SIM cards. In your own opinion, what is your opinion about this linkage and how can we regulate activities?
Yes, linking of NIN with SIM card is very important because this will ensure that we'll be able to track the identity of actual phone users, so that someone will not register a phone number in another person's name or even photograph, and then be using the person's identity to commit cyber crimes. So this is very important and is a laudable intention by the government.
All right, so what's your assessment of federal government's move in providing regulatory systems to tackle cybercrime?
Yes, this is also very critical and is also a welcome development because tackling cybercrime starts with regulation. That is, there should be rules and regulations in place to decide or determine which activities are permissible and which ones are not permissible. And then these rules and regulations will also set in place the responsibilities of government organizations, particularly those involved in the prevention of cybercrimes, like EFCC, NFIU, and the police, and also the responsibilities of organizations that carry out activities in the cyberspace, be it commercial organizations, business organizations, as well as government agencies, as well as individual responsibilities, because it is also very important to know that cyber security is not just a technical problem, it's an economic problem, it's also an individual problem. So it revolves around government, corporations, and individuals. So these regulations will help to let individuals know their rules, their roles, their responsibilities, as well as penalties associated with each with default by individuals, by organizations, even by government agencies. So this is a very welcome development.
All right, Mr. Abayomi Jagede, thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Attitude, greed, and irregularity of existing structures have been outlined as major factors in the resurgence of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria seek an intentional approach to ensure proper orientation and education of the public on financial matters. Daniel Aderi tells us more.
I think I invested about 600,000. And the return was quite marvelous. And the first time I got paid, and this time around, I didn't bother going back to my sisters to tell them that something is kind of yielding result. I quickly reinvest, and then I started waiting for my entire money. And then I said, what has happened to me? Me, of all people, that I normally will not invest in what I don't know.
Hamad Abubakar Tanimo is one of several Nigerians who has been a victim of a Ponzi scheme that has bedeviled the integrity of Nigeria's investment climate. However, guests on Good Morning Nigeria say for legitimate investment opportunities to thrive, the concept of financial education must be taught to Nigerians both formally and informally alike.
No investment in the world, and I must emphasize this so that for the listening audience, no investment in the world will give you a consistent 5% return on investment month on month. We need to improve financial knowledge in the population. And it should start from the primary schools.
People who understand processes now decides to go outside the process. So there has to also be a way where those people would be slapped back into order.
They also noted that besides ensuring a good legal framework that tackles financial crime, there must also be a conscious effort by financial institutions and regulators to make public a detailed list of legitimate investment firms.
They should also publish names of those that are registered, those investment outlets. And the promoters of these valid investment outlets also need to do a lot more in terms of marketing these investment outlets.
They urged government at all levels to provide the enabling environment as well as the necessary infrastructure for entrepreneurial businesses to thrive. In Abuja, Daniel Aderiye, NTA News.
Thank you, Daniel, for that report. Time now to head to Enugu, where Chinenye is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Chinenye. Nice to see you.
Elizabeth, compliments of the season and welcome to Enugu. Since the nation's return to democratic rule in 1999, there has been a general concern from various quarters on the need for effective youth participation in critical leadership positions of government. In this report, Chika Ugu examines the current political trends and how young people can be of positive influence in Nigeria's political structure to provide good governance.
Despite making up more than half of the population in many countries, youths often find themselves marginalized from mainstream politics and decision-making.
When you are younger, you have the energy, you have the charisma, you also have the ideas to pump into the system and make the system work.
Inclusiveness in politics is more theoretical than practice. Because in politics, do you have the materials to participate in politics? The youth might have wherewithal upstairs, but you know, the thing that will fertilize that system will not be there in terms of finance.
In the southeast of the country, over 50% of youth population have made little impact driving a true democratic governance. This army of young minds contend with unemployment, poverty, poor governance, among others. They have become viable tools for the older generation, realizing their political ambition, in most cases through violent means. This has eroded values and respect for the sanctity of human lives.
Because you have not empowered them, because they don't have the money, you deny them, you rig them out. Of course, what will result? They will be antagonistic against the system.
However, political awareness and participation among youths in Enugu State is increasing as more young people are contesting for and occupying positions of leadership, especially at the State Assembly and local governments. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Drug abuse has torn most families apart. In recent times, there is an upsurge in the use of psychotropic substances by youths, especially those from the southeast zone. Comfort Ayim reports that more drug addicts and barons have been arrested.
In medicine, any drug or other substances that affect the brain and cause changes in mood, behavior, emotions, thoughts, or perception is a psychotropic substance, otherwise known as psychoactive substances. Influence of the manufacturers and inability to prevent the widespread availability of dangerous drugs also worsens this problem, a situation that creates socio-economic burden to the nation and also contributes to the rise of violent crimes in the country.
Of late, we have discovered clandestine laboratories that produces these supposed illicit drugs. I think that is why we are having that increase in abuse. And incidentally, the destructive rate to human is higher than other drugs.
And the wide gate of the rehabilitation center in Enugu, which renders mental health services to the citizens in the southeast, has been admitting patients.
Currently, we do not have that surge in Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Enugu, but we do have cases of patients. At least currently we have not less than 3 to 4 cases that have used it, people that have used it on admission.
Seizures, stroke, mental illness, as well as lung disease are among the health problems of taking psychotropic substances. And experts say enforcement policies need to be improved to achieve a drug-free society. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Abubakar in Maiduguri after this commercial break. Do stay.
to have you back on Nationwide, and this is Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. Let's begin with security matters from here. Theater Commander joined Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai. Major General Christopher Musa says promotion of more than 20 generals in the theater will help intensify the onslaught against Boko Haram and ISWAP, as the war is expected to end soon. The theater commander stated this while decorating 22 newly promoted senior officers of the command. Memuna Garba reports that the investiture ceremony took place at Memalari Cantonment, Maiduguri.
This is the first time in the history of the theater more than 20 senior officers were promoted at the same time. The promotion was as a result of their hard work, commitment and gallantry, having passed their examinations and subsequent approval by the Nigerian Army and Naval Councils. Theater Commander Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, charged the newly promoted officers to live up to their new responsibilities as the military is committed to restoring lasting peace to the Northeast.
We have so many tasks ahead. It is our desire that by this time next year, we should be talking about the end of Boko Haram or ISWAP.
Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General Borno State, Kakashehu Lawan, said the state government will continue to collaborate with the military as well as create an enabling environment to support troops of the command toward ending the insurgency.
The Nigerian Army and indeed the Nigerian Armed Forces are doing wonderfully well. From the result we have seen in recent times, it is extraordinary. These we are so proud and we remain bold to say that we feel proud to associate ourselves with the theater.
Commander Multinational Joint Task Force, Air Component Commander Operation Hadinkai, and Deputy Theater Commander, as well as other senior officers, tasked the newly decorated officers to continue with their doggedness and contribute to the success of the operations, stressing that much is expected from them. The 22 promoted senior officers comprised of 20 colonels who were promoted to the rank of brigadier generals, one naval captain promoted to commodore, and a major was decorated with the rank of lieutenant colonel.
We promise and pledge here now that we are aware of the responsibilities bestowed on us and more is expected of us, particularly because of the theater in which we operate.
Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, 7th Division Nigerian Army, who is also the spokesperson, Theater Command Operation Hadinkai, Brigadier General Ado Isa, was among the newly promoted officers. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And still on issues concerning security, Borno State Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafur has visited 3 locations attacked by persons suspected to be ISWAP members within Maiduguri metropolis to assess the level of destruction for immediate assistance to the victims. Here again is Memuna Garba with the rest of the story.
The 3 locations attacked were Ayafe Ward, Ajilari Cross, and Blumkutukaswa, where 6 people, including animals, were killed and many others injured. Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafur said the purpose of his visit is to condole and sympathize with the victims over the sad incident and assess the level of destruction to enable government come to their aid. He urged them to consider the incident as an act of God and continue to pray for lasting peace in the state. Over 15 people were affected by the attack, with 6 deaths recorded in Ayafe and Ajilari Cross, where 5 people are currently receiving treatment at the hospital. Already, SEMA has visited the areas and rendered the needed assistance to the victims. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories at this time from Maiduguri. Let's now return to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Happy New Year to you, Lizzie.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Happy New Year to you too. Next is Sports Update with Cynthia Ogun.